Well, it is a hot time in Florida, I'll tell you that. You're not going to believe what I'm going to show you tonight. In the city of Lynn Haven, insider threats snuck the fired city manager, Vickie Gaynor, into City Hall. And it's on security footage, an hour and a half of it. And Feel the Burn watchdog has obtained the security footage. And that means what? That means you're about to see it. This is unbelievable. So if you remember, Vickie Gaynor was fired by the city commission on a 4-1 vote on a Friday. It was July 18. And after that, she was supposed to get her things and leave, like all of us, like when I got fired from the radio station on August 1st of 2014. They said, Bernie, you're out of here. And I said, geez, after 8.5 years? And they walked me right to the door, took my key, and gave me the boot. Geez, when Governor DeSantis removed Mayor Margo Anderson, who we now know was framed, they put her stuff out in boxes and said, hey, Lee, her husband, come pick it up. But when Vickie Gaynor was fired on Friday, she spent a couple hours in City Hall still, and with the Mayor Jesse Nelson, and if you recall, City Commissioner Jamie Warwick got wind of it, and he showed up at City Hall, and he said, you got to get out of here. And he was upset about what was going on. And that was on Friday, July 18. Well, the following week on Tuesday, just a few days later, there was a city commission meeting. And at the city commission meeting, you may remember that Vickie Gaynor supporters went up there and said that they make these crazy accusations now all the time. And they said that Jamie Warwick, the commissioner, went in there and threatened Vickie Gaynor. Right. Everything's always a threat. Everyone's always, it's unbelievable. You remember all that stuff? Well, that was, again, all that took place on Friday, the 18th of July. Well, on the very next day, on Saturday, when City Hall was closed, in the morning, you had the acting city manager, Jennifer Hodges, and the HR director, Jarrod Holton, at 8-something in the morning on the very next day, Saturday, July 19, they snuck Vickie Gaynor into City Hall. Look, I'll show you. I'll show you a little bit of this. This is so crazy. An hour and a half long. You see that? That's the HR director. And that, the lady there, that is the acting city manager, Jennifer Hodges. There's Vickie Gaynor. Saturday morning, it's closed. Sneaking, that's her old office. All right. I'm going to show you what else transpires because it's absolutely insane. And I'll tell you how I, found out about this. There's a whistleblower right now. I'm going to show all this to you. This is going to be absolutely unbelievable. But before I do, let me thank my sponsors, and we're going to get right to it.
Strong, effective leadership. 3 words that could mean the difference between prison and your freedom. I'm Al Stallene, your Panama City Beach lawyer. 850-215-0628.
Don't let back pain and neck pain get you down. Find relief at Brown Chiropractic Center on St. Andrews Boulevard in Panama City. Dr. Sherry Brown helps people heal naturally with chiropractic adjustments and deep tissue massage. Call 769-3777.
You want to look good? You want to feel good? Little John's Big and Tall is where it's at. Right across the street from Sky's Pizza Pie, 5700 North Davis Highway. You can find out more online at littlejohnsbigandtall.com. He's also a member of the iTex trading community, where your iTex dollars are welcome.
So there's the security footage. And as you saw, that's the HR director. This is on Saturday morning, the day after Vickie Gaynor was fired. That's Jennifer Hodges. These are two of the highest ranking managers. There's Vickie Gaynor, and she goes into her old office, and you're not going to believe what she does while she's in there. So she goes into her office and goes through the filing cabinet and takes a whole bunch of papers and stuff. And she goes into the mayor's office, Mayor Jesse Nelson's office. And she goes into the cuddle room. I know that in City Hall there was an issue with, you remember all that, the salacious stuff, the dancing, the sexy dancing that was going on, and it was an absolute wreck. I mean, evidently, City Hall is not boring, but I didn't know they had a cuddle room. So she spent. Hold on. I'm getting a phone call. One second. Hello? I'm doing a show. I'm doing a show right now. All right. I'll tell him. Thank you. Bye. So I've just been notified. It's not a cuddle room. It's the huddle room. Cuddle. I thought that was kind of weird. It was the huddle room. So when she went in there, she went into the huddle room. I don't know what that is. And her office, most of the time she was in her office. Now you're going to see video. There's an hour and a half long that she was in there. And this is how this has been revealed. There was an email sent within the last day or so. See, CJ she was the secretary for the city manager, Vickie Gaynor. She also had many roles. She wore a lot of hats, but she didn't get the titles. She did the role of the city clerk, and she provided public records, a bunch of stuff. Well, she had an anonymous public record request, and while doing the public record request, she discovered this video. And this is the email that she sent to the commissioners and to the mayor within the last couple of days. It says, at a special commission meeting on July 18, 2025, the commission voted to immediately terminate the city manager. On the afternoon, the very next day of July 19, 2025, it was actually in the morning, I believe. At least that's what it says on the time. But sometimes the times aren't accurate. The acting city manager, Jennifer Hodges, and the HR director, Jarrod Holton, let the terminated city manager into the building for approximately an hour and a half. The terminated city manager was in the city manager's office, the mayor's office, and the huddle room. Some of the time unescorted. From the video footage, it's clear that while alone in the city manager's office, she appears to access the filing cabinet drawers and remove what appears to be paperwork, placing it under her personal possessions. You're going to see this in the box on the desk. My concern, says CJ, the whistleblower, is should she sue the city? Remember, she showed up at the last city commission meeting with her attorney. She said in the with the public with her attorney, signaling that there's going to be a lawsuit for firing her. So should she do that? Should she sue the city? Some of those documents could have assisted in the city's defense, but are no longer available. Given the commissioner's majority vote to immediately terminate the city manager and to have her not return to her offices, city elected leadership has a right to know. Who authorized the acting city manager? These are some of the questions that she presents, and they have a pre-commission meeting tomorrow. It's going to be interesting to see how the commission handles this. Who authorized the acting city manager and the HR director to allow the terminated city manager to enter the offices after hours? Number two, who monitored the former city manager while she was on city property and in the city manager's office, the mayor's office, and the huddle room? Folders, information, reports, what were taken, emails, who reviewed and approved any and all of the items removed by the former city manager. Given the possibility of litigation by the former city manager, including the litigation that is already ongoing that involves the former city manager. And given the clear direction of the majority of the commission, a couple more questions. Who approved allowing the former city manager on the property after hours, and who approved the items that were removed? Now, here's a big one. And things start to make sense over time. I always say, time will betray you, and it will also give us a fresh vantage point to fill in those missing pieces. And you're going to see that in a minute, because a few days later is when the police chief went up there and made some comments that now make a whole lot of sense. So here's a very interesting one. Did the mayor and the city commissioner direct the acting city manager, Jennifer Hodges, and the HR director, Jarrod Holton, to allow the terminated city manager to come to City Hall after hours on a Saturday and spend unsupervised time in the city manager's office and the mayor's office? Now, when you read that, what stands out? What stands out to me is 3 words: the city commissioner. Which city commissioner? Could it have been the mayor and Commissioner Judy Tinder? No, that wouldn't happen. Could it be the mayor and city commissioner Jamie Warwick? No, couldn't be that. Could it be the mayor and city commissioner Sam Peebles? Maybe. Could it be the mayor and city commissioner Pat Perno? Maybe. Which one of those city commissioners is she talking about? I don't know. She says, as the person responsible, the whistleblower CJ, former secretary, city clerk, all of that stuff, who worked underneath Vickie Gaynor. She says, as the person responsible since 2021 for the functions of the city clerk and the city services contracting, both without the title. She's been doing it all without the title and presumably without the pay. And in line with the city of Lynn Haven and state of Florida whistleblower policies, this information is being sent directly to you as the elected representatives. Again, this email went out within the last couple of days. As the acting city manager and HR director allowed the former manager into the building hours, this report, this whistleblower report of the unusual and possible unauthorized activity cannot be made directly to either of these 2 managers, the HR director and Jennifer Hodges, who was acting as city manager at the time. She can't give it to them. They were in there with her. They let her in. They were the insider threats. It goes on, as would normally be the case. That would be how you do it. So why? She says, because if the access by the former city manager, Vickie Gaynor, was not approved by the city commission, and if items that are potentially detrimental or helpful to the city of Lynn Haven were removed from City Hall, these 2 managers are directly involved. Look at this. I have no confidence at this time in bringing this matter before anyone else on the leadership team. Anyone else on the leadership team? Well, that would mean the current city manager, even Chief Lightfoot, Chris Lightfoot, Chief Lightfoot, Chris Lightfoot. She didn't even feel comfortable giving it to Chief Lightfoot. So she sent it to the elected officials, and she's trying to, let's take a look at the video. It's amazing. So you saw, if you haven't seen it yet, this is the very beginning. It's an hour and a half long, so I'm just going to skim through and show you a little bit of it. That is the HR director in the blue shirt that says staff. And then that's Jennifer Hodges. There's Vickie Gaynor going into her old office the day after being terminated on July 19. This is, she's no longer, she's not supposed to be in there. Now, I'm going to make it bigger so you can see it even better. You'll see, and I'm going to skim forward a little bit. Oh, back there in the file, in some of the cabinets, and do you see her in her old office taking things out there? Now, I don't know what she's taking, but I've looked through this video and I can see papers, looks like envelopes, looks like other items that she's taking. Now, this all makes a lot of sense, because remember, this is on a Saturday. This is Saturday, July 19, the day after she was fired. Putting stuff down. And here comes Jennifer Hodges and the HR director, Jarrod Holton. And they're not supervised. I mean, she's back there alone, unsupervised. There's Vickie Gaynor. I don't know what those items are, but maybe they're her personal things. I don't know. So what happened the day after this? Well, that was a Sunday. And that's when Mayor Jesse Nelson at his church, remember, he had the meeting at the church and closed the doors, locked down the church, and had some meeting on Sunday night, a community justice for Vickie meeting on Sunday, the next day. And during the Justice for Vickie meeting that was closed down, the press wasn't allowed in. You had the News Herald was there, the might have been WMBB or WJHG, one of the TVs, they weren't allowed in. And then the day after that, on Monday, you had Mayor Nelson. I'm going to show you a lot more here. You had Mayor Nelson, remember, he left the country. I still don't know why. If you know why, if he's made, I don't think he's made a statement about that. But then the following day, which would have been Tuesday, so all this is happening day after day. Tuesday, you remember, the mayor was out of the country, and you had Sam Peebles, the mayor pro tem, vice mayor. He ran the meeting, and it was a big meeting, and they were figuring out if they were going to have Jennifer Hodges, who had just earlier, we didn't know at the time, let Vickie Gaynor in and help Vickie Gaynor remove a bunch of stuff from City Hall along with the HR director. We didn't know that had happened days before. And they were trying to decide who they wanted it as the city manager until they get a permanent city manager. And it was between Jennifer Hodges, which Police Chief Ricky Ramey did not want. Remember how adamant he was about that? I'm going to remind you. I'm going to show you because now it makes sense what he said. And Chief Lightfoot, Chris Lightfoot. It was between those two. Pat Perno was adamant. And so they ended up going with Chris Lightfoot as the acting city manager, and Jennifer Hodges continues her job. But we didn't know when she was sitting up there that she was an insider threat. Did the commissioners know? Did the mayor know? And when did they know? Who was the commissioner that CJ, the whistleblower, mentions in that letter? Did the mayor and the commissioner? We should know this by tomorrow because they have a pre-commission meeting tomorrow, and they've got to address this, don't they? I mean, they've got insider threats to the point where the entire leadership team is not trusted at City Hall. They're removing stuff, sneaking stuff out. Watch. This gets crazier and crazier. See, now, okay, here we are. We're back there now. That's Jennifer Hodges. This is an hour and a half long video. There's Jarrod Holton, the HR director. And they're basically doing whatever Vickie Gaynor says after she's fired. Wait till you see what's coming up here. I'm not going to show an hour and a half of the video, but I am going to show you a couple of tidbits here. Let's see where it is. There's a part coming up here in just a moment. Oh, okay. Yep. Right here. So you'll see that's Jennifer Hodges. That's the HR director. Jarrod goes into Vickie Gaynor's office. let me make this a little bit bigger for you to see. And she's telling him, hey, go out and get, okay. He's following her orders still. He's going out to get something. What? What's in the box? Are those the missing? This reminds me of the those videos of during the election when you had all of the boxes and the stuff shifting around on the security cameras. Everybody said, don't worry about those. So Jarrod brings in a big box, drags it in. And here comes Jennifer Hodges, the acting city manager. The hell? They're all in there getting papers and stuff and putting them in that box. According to the letter by CJ, Vickie Gaynor is taking papers from the filing cabinets and see, they're putting them underneath her personal items. Look at Jarrod's helping out, putting stuff in there. Jennifer Hodges, the boss, for a few days, there she is. It's Saturday. City Hall's closed. And they're in there like Watergate. So you see, getting more stuff out of there, putting it. So this goes on and on. Look, but Jarrod's putting more stuff in there. Remember, 3 days later, Jennifer Hodges is sitting up there. This is Saturday. The following day was the mayor's secret church meeting. Then the mayor went out of town. Then Tuesday, there was that meeting. Let me remind you what happened on that Tuesday. We'll come back to this. Whew. So on that Tuesday, just 3 days later, here's what happened at the city commission meeting. This is crazy. So, okay, here we've got, do you remember this? Do you remember when Chief Ramey came up? It was July 22nd, 3 days after. And do you see her up there? 3 days after she snuck Vickie Gaynor in there, there's Jennifer Hodges. She's the acting city manager. And remember, Chief Ramey comes up there, and do you remember what he said? Now it all makes sense. Chief Ramey goes up there, and he says 20 hours after city manager Vickie Gaynor was fired, 20 hours after, he says, basically, y'all are working with her. He knew. Chief Ramey knew. Remember, he's a snoop now. He loves gadgets and surveillance, and he'll surveil your ass. I've heard he'll clone your phone. He'll tail you around. Let's listen to what he said. This is unbelievable here. All right, let's listen to what Ramey said and see if we can piece it together better now. Oh, sorry. Here we go.
You three, all five, were provided with information. I'm very concerned about the people that did come forward. And you can all look at me and shake your head because you got the information.
What information? Did they
Does
all
that
know?
concern you?
Listen, I am not entirely sure, but I think if I were to bet, and I don't know, what information is he talking about? I don't think he's just talking about the deposition. That was a matter of public record. They had that. I sort of think, if I were betting, I bet he's talking about, hey, Jennifer Hodges up there, she let Vickie Gaynor in the building the very next day. Now, Commissioner Warwick and Commissioner Peebles and Commissioner Perno, they know what it was that they were given, but they've been sort of secretive about it. Because, they always say, well, we don't want to be vulnerable in a lawsuit. We don't want to do anything that could hurt the city. You don't want to do anything that would hurt the city. Holy shnikes. They're bringing stuff out in boxes. Did you know? Did you guys know that Vickie Gaynor was in there 3 days earlier? They know now because they got the whistleblower email and this video that I'm showing you. Watch what he says here. This is unbelievable.
Does it concern you?
Look how scared they all are.
Mr. Perno, does it concern you what you read?
What did they read?
20 hours into this.
20 hours after Vickie was fired.
20 hours.
On Saturday.
She's at your restaurant.
Whoa.
She's got you on the phone. Who is she coming after?
He's pointing at Perno. I mean, sorry. He's pointing at Peebles. She's at your restaurant. She has you on the phone. I don't know if she means Vickie Gaynor or Jennifer Hodges, but I'm starting to think it's Jennifer Hodges. Was Jennifer Hodges getting permission from Peebles and Perno? And by the way, how did Chief Ramey know this? Because he's a cop. Because he's surveilling people. That's how he knew.
She coming after?
See, remember, it was because Chief Ramey read the deposition that said Vickie Gaynor was bid rigging against Phoenix Construction, and that's illegal. And he reported it. He can't report it to, okay, this is important. Why didn't he report what he says is a crime? He gave a referral to FDLE, and later Mayor Nelson said it's probably an investigation now. So clearly there is probable cause for a crime committed by the former city manager. By the way, if you say that's just he say, she say, it's just one liar, Chris Forehand, under oath, making that claim. Let me just tell you, it is no longer just Chris Forehand under oath. There are more people who have said the same thing under oath. So what he is saying, and remember, now the spoken wheels of the whole conspiracy that they tried to frame Mayor Margo Anderson and James Finch with, the whole spoken wheels of the conspiracy has always been Chief Ramey, Vickie Gaynor, and Chris Forehand, and Michael White, the former city manager that ended up going to prison for just a little while. He's out now. Vickie Gaynor told Judge Mark Walker that he stole $5 million, but he was a great leader and a very important person at City Hall. So Vickie Gaynor told Judge Walker, I couldn't believe it. I saw it. And you know who else saw it? Jamie Warwick saw it. He was sitting right behind me in the federal courtroom. Later on, when Jamie Warwick got mad at me, I asked him about that. And he said, I don't remember that part. Jamie Warwick told me, I don't remember Vickie saying that. Okay. This is part of the reason I've been hard on him. So now we know some of the alliances, and you're going to see it. We know now that Jennifer Hodges is secretly working with Vickie Gaynor, even after she was fired, secretly even taking orders from Vickie Gaynor, even after she was fired. And that means now that Vickie Gaynor's ire is toward Chief Ramey. Chief Ramey knows that if Jennifer Hodges becomes the city manager, he's going to get fired, and he's mad. See, that's the problem. And that's why I told you that protection rackets don't last forever. But the important question is, why didn't Chief Ramey take this to Sheriff Ford? It was Sheriff Ford, after all, that Chief Ramey had to say, I've got a conflict of interest because my bro, Michael White, pointed a gun at his wife's head in a domestic violence dispute. And he couldn't do anything about it, he said, because that's his boss. So he had a conflict of interest, and he handed it to who? Sheriff Tommy Ford, the county sheriff. It's his job. And County Sheriff Ford and Major Stanford and them, they arrested Michael White, the former city manager. So why is it now that Sheriff Tommy Ford doesn't want any part of this? So Chief Ramey gives it to FDLE And we don't know where that's at right now. But isn't that interesting? All right, we're gonna get to the security video. Let's finish with Ramey's comments here. This is super important now that we know what we know.
Has anybody thought about other department heads that have dealt with this? Why don't you have them come up and speak?
The commissioners don't want any
We
transparency.
have to move on peacefully, united. We have a great city. But I'm going to share with you 20 hours into this.
20 hours after Gainer's fired, Jennifer Hodges has
was
her in
coming.
City Hall.
For a chief of police that read a deposition and talked to two witnesses, it was on an agenda, 20 hours deep into her command. It's embarrassing.
Into Jennifer Hodges' command.
That's malicious. That's vindictive.
Isn't that ironic?
That what is done in private will be cast on a mountaintop.
All right, so since we're on the mountaintop, let's take a look at more of that video. This is what I'm going to show you here is the security footage from City Hall. And I showed you the craziest part here. Watch. Look at this. Look at this part right here. This is wild. So Vickie Gaynor is going to tell the HR director in the blue staff shirt, that's the HR director, Jarrod Holton, who was helping her put papers and stuff in. She's directing him still. She's still the boss, even after she's fired. She's telling him, go out and get something. And the HR director on Saturday, he's hauling the votes. I mean, the 30 grand. Nah, he's hauling the second accounting papers. No, I don't know. I don't know what the hell's in there, but he's hauling that box over there, and then they start filling it up with stuff. Okay, and this goes on and on for an hour and a half. Again, Jennifer Hodges. But what I want to show you is the end of this. Let's get toward the end of this. After they filling up the boxes, and Vickie Gaynor's in the mayor's office and her office, and then it ends, and they all come out together. Here we go. They're getting it all together, and they're going to come out. Do you think this is an insider threat? Do you see them all in the office? Let me make it bigger. There's Jennifer Hodges looking in the box with Vickie. Do we have everything that we need? The HR director is waiting for more orders from Vickie Gaynor, who was just fired the day before. 20 hours into this, into her command, says Chief Ramey. All right. Now we know where Jennifer Hodges' allegiance is. Sneaking Vickie into City Hall. All right, they're going to walk out. Here we go. So they've walked out now. Vickie's got her purse or something, some kind of big bag full of stuff. Jennifer Hodges closing up the city manager office. Now watch her console Vickie. So you know now Jennifer Hodges is an insider threat to City Hall. We don't know what papers and stuff the HR director, and she needed a water. We don't know all the stuff in that box and the bag and everything. But right before that, there's more stuff that the HR director, right before that, and I'll show you this video in more detail. I'll break it down more for you. Oh, there we go. Look, here's the HR director. And he carried that big box of stuff out for Vickie. But then you saw all of them there sort of consoling each other. And I don't know why, I don't know what they're saying. Why did Chris Forehand tell the truth on us? And the others being deposed already. By the way, there are more who have been deposed and said the same thing Chris Forehand said, but how did this all happen? I thought Sheriff Ford was going to, and the FBI thought they were going to frame Mayor Anderson and James Finch. I thought we were in the clear. Now I'm fired. Chief Ramey's in trouble. All the commissioners have been covering this up. They're all very, very confused how all of this is happening to them. And again, all of this comes from these this email that was over the last day or so from the whistleblower, CJ, the former secretary and did the city clerk job and all kinds of jobs for Vickie Gaynor. She stumbled across this in an anonymous public record request. She couldn't give it to either of those city managers that you just saw. She can't give it to Jennifer Hodges. Hell, she's the insider threat. She can't give it to the HR director. Hell, he's the insider threat. That leaves the current city manager, Chris Lightfoot. But look what she says at the very, very bottom. I have no confidence in the circle. I have no confidence at this time in bringing this matter before anyone else on the leadership team, not even Chris Lightfoot. And when did, I would love them all to be deposed and to find out, when did Commissioner Warwick know? Did he just find out? Is he finding out on the Bernie Thompson show? Remember last time? Remember last time when all the commissioners found out that Chief Ramey's hit and run? Remember all that? And Vickie Gaynor and the mayor, they'd been covering it up for a while, weeks. And Jamie Warwick would go and say, yeah, I found out about it on social media. It's okay to say my name, Jamie. But when did you know about that? Did you just find out? Commissioner Peebles, when did you know about this? What did Jennifer Hodges say when she called you on that Saturday, July 19, the day after she was fired, according to Chief Ramey? Who knows what we all say on the phone? But what about Commissioner Perno? When did you know? Commissioner Tinder, when did you know? I think we all know that she just found out. Mayor Nelson says, I couldn't have known I was out of the country. Well, tomorrow is a pre-commission meeting. They're going to have to address this, don't you think? Are they going to be transparent? Are they going to keep the insider threats inside of City Hall? Or are they ever going to do the right thing? One person has been fired for all of this corruption that has been taking place. And think about it. Was Jennifer Hodges helping Vickie Gaynor? If Vickie Gaynor is going to sue City Hall, remember she went to a city commissioner meeting the last city commissioner meeting with her lawyer, Alvin Peters. They walked in together. She sat with the public. It was a boss move. All of the commissioners are scared to death. They say, we don't want to put the city at any legal risk. Are you kidding me? Everything you do puts the city at risk. The taxpayers. All right. Did WMBB cover this tonight? What are they going to do? They're going to get their orders and they're going to do whatever they're told to do is what they're going to do. And you know this, man. That's how it works. But I needed you to see this. I want you to see the entire video. So I'll make that available to you. But I do want to thank, of course, those of you who make all this possible. Those of you who subscribe on Substack. It's free, by the way. Every weekend, I send an email with the shows, with the important Facebook posts. Even if you don't have Facebook, you can see the shows. It's 20 seconds to subscribe for your free subscription at bernie.substack.com. It comes to your email box. And also, by the way, I wanted to thank those of you who support the show. That's some of the ways you can do that, of course. And the Unknown Patriot, thank you so much for your support. But you can become a patron at patreon.com/Bernie Thompson. It's like throwing a tip in the tip jars. With us $5 a month keeps the Liberty Lounge going, keeps me going. Crowdfunding, couldn't do it without you. Thank you so much. And I know a lot of you, by the way, have been trying to reach me either to tell me, give me a tip, and I know I've been hard to reach. But here's one way you can get my full undivided attention for a whole hour. Right there. At Callan, and some of you who have done it, we've been able to get a few things done. And it doesn't matter if you want to talk to me about, shoot, the stuff I bring out into the woods. Hey, Bernie, what's all that stuff you bring? You want to talk to me about how to get public records? If you want to talk to me about anything, it's the best way to do it. Calendly.com/Bernie Thompson. Again, it helps me fund all of this, and I appreciate those of you who have taken advantage of it. It's super simple. I've got to run. So much more coming. So much more coming. Thank you for being with me. I'm sometimes I do shows where I'm just absolutely blown away. What do you think they're going to do, by the way? What do you think the city commissioners are going to do? They have to take the insider threats out, don't they? To let them have another minute. Hell, City Hall's closed. It's Sunday. They could be in there right now. For all I know, they could be in there right now in the cuddle room.